So now we're going to cover an England gambit declined, and this person declined this gambit in a way that I'd never seen before. And as you know my opinion on this, that the fact is that people who decline the England gambit must not have any faith in their own tactical abilities, because it's such a bad opening for black that it seems like you can do almost anything against it and win. And the fact is that these people are just scared of their own shadows. So uh, these other pieces of advice I have didn't apply in this game very well, simply because they declined it in such an unusual way. So without further ado, we'll look at the game. And this is not the best game. As you see what he's done, he plays knight to c3. So this move makes almost no sense whatsoever. However, the computer recommends I move e4 here. So instead I take, let's turn on the engine. You'll see the computer doesn't like a lot of the moves I make in this game. So he retreats instead of checking. We just develop knights before bishops. Now he goes into a fianchetto type position. And now black has the advantage if I just play bishop to b4, which I tend to put my bishop on the diagonal attacking f2. If you recall, that was the second point listed in what to do when you decline the England gambit. And it is kind of sitting there open and vulnerable. So knight to f3 follows. So white's got a perfectly good game, and we're just playing for equality here. Okay, we develop our bishop to f5. Now we have to push, otherwise we get doubled up on in terms of knight to d5. And now, if he moves his knight to d5, I can take either the b2 pawn or just move my queen back. And the computer likes just taking the b2 pawn. I didn't want to go in for that kind of complication yet, even though it looks like a stronger move because the c2 pawn's also hanging due to the bishop being on f5. So I just moved back. Now it says I really need to stop him from pushing. And once again, I'm playing somewhat inexact moves here. I was willing to retreat my bishop to a7. It wants me to take, Stockfish 8 does, and I see now this engine also does. So instead I move my bishop to kind of a interesting square where rook to e8 starts to come into play, and we begin to get a little bit of counterplay, and I have full intention of just allowing my pawns to be doubled. Now we retreat, he takes, now he retreats to f4, which is the recommended move, and now it says I need to play a5, which I didn't do, I'm sure. He retreats his knight, now bishop to a7 or b6, either one of which is about the same. Knight to b4. Okay, so this is the real reason I wanted to publish this game, is this is a small tutorial in tactical chess. If you analyze this position, I'm playing somebody who is a fearful player tactically. They don't know what they're doing. They've forked two pawns with their knight. They're going to get one of these pawns. And the question is, how do I make them suffer in this situation with the opportunities that exist? Should I, it says I should move queen to g5 and just let him have one of them, but you know, queen to g5 does threaten the g3 pawn, and it says it's basically an even game. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to bait this opponent into sacrificing his bishop on g2 for my rook on a8, and I know that that is the reverse statement of reality, that in fact what I'm doing is sacrificing a rook for a bishop, but that bishop is more important to white's position than my rook on b8's important to the black position. And you're going to see how this happens, and this is simply a matter of tactical prowess. First we're going to play there. Now the computer quite rightly says the right move is knight to c6 and not to take that pawn. Okay, if he takes that pawn, it appears like he's going to get a trapped rook. You know, it looks like you take the a pawn. Where's that rook going to go? You know, so the fact is that he can, you know, attack it even if I move to c8. And so he snaps this up in a big hurry. And this is how games are won tactically against players like this. Now notice what just happened. He has won a pawn, and he's about to win the exchange. And he just went down 1.5. And he's going to be down more than that very shortly, and the game's going to be over. So, for instance, what if I move rook to a8 now? And that's the point, really, of this whole thing, is when I move rook to a8, his knight's trapped. Now, he can try to do something and protect it somehow. I don't see how, but he is virtually obligated to play some sort of move just allowing me to have this. It says he can move queen to d3, and then I proceed on my merry way and with a big advantage. So he takes it and loses the game. Now, as you see, what we're going to have is we have two bishops, we have a queen that's going to dominate an entire diagonal, and we're attacking a knight all at once. Okay. So what does it recommend? Knight takes c7. Is that what he plays? Yes, knight takes c7. That's basically what's left. Now g4 is the only right move, and this game's over. He's lost. So we take, and the world falls apart. So now all of a sudden it's, there's mates, and rook's attacked, and I don't want to belabor the rest of this game, but this is an example of an assessment of getting rid of a fianchettoed bishop through luring an opponent into foolish play. And this was somewhat unsound, but we didn't really vary from something that would have made us down very much. We would have had an even game no matter what. So this is the end of this little England Gambit lesson.